Well, just about maybe 3 months ago at this point or so, I was talking to today's guest about winning the PFL European Championship. Now here we are a couple months later, and now he's getting set to now have to defend that title in yet another tournament, joined today by Jakub Kaszuba. Nice to see you, man. How you doing? And you all excited? Another year is here, another title now to be defended, and it's kind of an exciting time for you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. It's my fourth fight in 8 months. I've been doing two a month. Yeah, and I feel good. I'm excited. I'm ready to take this full out.
Yeah, man. Like I said there in the intro, right? I mean, just a few months ago, we were talking about the thrill of victory and the joy that you had and the celebration that you were going through when you won that title last year. How do you kind of go about now putting that all behind you and resetting and reshifting gears to now have to go forward and do this all over again?
Yeah, I mean the turnout was short. The scariest part was my weight because I got the notice January. I believe it was 9th when Dan Hardy wrote to me about March 7th, and I didn't at first I didn't understand if it was a question or if it was an order. But I stepped on the scale. I was 195 pounds. I was like, oh shit, okay. Uh, but yeah, I just went back to what I do. I had to I had a pretty rigorous diet for since January 9th. I didn't have any room for slip up, so I've been eating the same shit every day, and I've been counting all my calories. But yeah, I'm on weight, and I feel great. I'm performing great. So that was probably the scariest part, honestly. But all in all, it just feels like another fight of the season. It's like the fourth fight. Even though it's technically a new tournament, it doesn't feel like the other one really ended.
So, with that being said, I guess any sort of pressures, right? Because, like you said, it's almost like, all right, the tournament never even ended, right? You're jumping right into another fight. Do you kind of go with that same mindset of it's just another fight, or are there pressures because you did win this tournament last year and you are now the guy that everyone's going to be hunting? Everybody knows when they're matched up against you, this is the champion from last year.
I mean, I just do the same rigorous thing I always do. I didn't, I don't change anything in my training camps, and I'm very confident in my preparation. And is there any pressure as being a champion? No, not really. I'm always focused on today and training hard. And yeah, I don't even think of what was in the past, right? Because it's a new season, it's a new year, new fights, new fighters. So I just go forward. I don't really think about that stuff.
So last year, right, when we were sitting here at this moment in time and we were having this conversation, there was kind of some confusion, right? It was, are you going to be a part of the PFL global roster or are you going to be in the European tournament yet again? I know you're kind of going back and forth. How did you end up with the European tournament? And is there any sort of disappointment not being on the global roster? Are you okay with the European tournament again? Because the European tournament really was a fun tournament last year. I enjoyed following along with it. I think a lot of fans did too.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to choose where I go. And because of the merger with Bellator, they got into the lightweight tournament. They brought a lot of Bellator guys in, and then half PFL, half Bellator. So I guess I would have gladly competed for the $1 million against the PFL guys because I really thought I could win that. But with the Bellator guys, the competition is much higher and it's gonna be much harder. So I'm actually glad I went back to send me back to Europe so I can get a bit more experience for those Bellator guys and make another big paycheck for this year, buy another investment property, and then have my contract renegotiated for next year and get more money. Get more money per fight to fight these Bellator guys.
All right, let's talk about this upcoming fight now here. Again, that fight day for everybody out there is going to be March 7th. So let's start with training camp. Obviously, camp is starting to wrap itself up down there in Florida. Just how was your camp? I know you're busy all the time. You're going to work. You're training immediately. Just how you feeling as camp starts to wind down?
Yeah, I feel great. I'm really good on weight and I'm performing really well. And it's funny because like every time my weight cuts get better and better and better, and I'm performing better. And the crazy part is that I didn't think I could do it. When I stepped on the scale, 195 pounds, I'm like I can't fight. I won't be able to make weight. But my wife did the math, and we have to change our diet a bit more, like more greens, more yogurt, more fiber. a lot of quinoa and avocado, and but it was actually enjoyable to eat, and it made me perform better. So I look even stronger than I did for the championship fight. So I'm excited, you know. And we did a lot of new cool stuff, boxing wise and kickboxing wise, with my boxing coach. And then we reinforced some more grappling stuff with my wrestling and jiu-jitsu coach. So, but I'm excited for my striking. It's just gonna be way more mobile, which I'm. And I just keep improving. That's what I like, and I have a great team that know me well and know where I can improve and how I can improve. So we're constantly building, which is the beauty of life and the sport.
Is your wife normally a part of your camps that way? I know you mentioned about her, calculating out your diet and everything. Is that normally how you operate with things?
Yeah, yeah, literally. I mean, she's my dietitian, my strength and conditioning coach. So she's actually the one that got me on weight and built made the Polish power even more lethal. And really, the weights kept my injuries very low, which is nice. It really built up my endurance and my health. And yeah, she's always done my weight cuts. The past two fights I kind of hadn't dialed in, but now with this big change in weight, I needed more help from her, which was nice. And yeah, we're there. I mean, I was 167 this morning, and I feel strong. I mean, I'm throwing around 180 pounders, that are in the UFC. So I feel strong. I feel good.
All right, it's funny because I've interviewed fighters where they've worked with their parent before. I don't think I've ever interviewed a fighter where husband and wife helping out, being on the same team throughout a training camp or anything along those lines. What's that like working with your wife in that sort of capacity there? Because I know whenever somebody that's a loved one, you kind of get away a little bit with being a little bit moody or bossy. Do you guys have any of that goes on, or are you guys
Oh, we
pretty
had
good
it.
throughout the course of it?
We had it in the beginning. It's all about finding a balance, understanding each other. And sometimes she'd be very boss, like she'd be like my personal trainer. Like sometimes I'll be like, Ashley, I know what you're telling me, but I also have a way of doing my things. So it was nice of her learning to let me do some of my own stuff for my own anxieties, for example, or my own yeah. Fighters overall I listen, but some things as a fighter I'm like, no, I got to do it this way, baby, I'm sorry. And it used to piss her off a lot, but we're in a good spot now where we communicate clearly and she understands, and I understand too, and I try to implement what she says most of the time. And it's these little tweaks. I'm not trying to get anything crazy, right? Especially I like these little tweaks that she does, and I listen to her, and she understands how I do stuff now, and we work really well. So, and she helps me. She's going to Paris with me, right? So I mean, she's helping me cook. She's helping me shop for food there. So it's a team effort. By myself, I wouldn't be able to do shit.
All right, so I know that you mentioned about her coming to Paris with you. It's funny you bring that up because I wanted to ask you about the preparation as far as travel goes for this fight. Because obviously, right, when we think of fights here in the United States, usually everything is held within the states, travel, not too big of a concern. For you, right, being in Florida, flying to Paris, bit of a far travel there. So how do you approach that as far as obviously you're cutting weight still. You're going to be doing your, starting to get heavy with the water loads. You still got to get training sessions in there. How do you approach the travel for this fight?
Well, I don't fight during fight week. I don't train. I mean, I don't. So I don't even. I just concentrate on the weight cut and my diet. And I got the travel down. Then this is the fourth time we're going over there. So I just know how to do my water trick, water loading, and I bring food with me that I eat here. I pack it in my bag. I bring a griddle. I bring my own sauna because we got to share saunas at the PFL Europe weigh-ins. I'm like, fuck that, I ain't doing that. So I bring my own. But then I figured out that I need a converter because it's a different power outage. So I blew out one sauna before. One lasted, but then it got destroyed. So I got a new one now. I got a nice big power converter. I bring my pans. I got a griddle. So we're living in a hotel, but we it's like we're eating home food essentially. So we got that all figured out, which is nice. And walk around a little, see the local sights. It's always nice. Get your mind off of just sitting in the hotel, which is nice.
I'll tell you what, you guys definitely have that plan all mastered out, that's for sure. And speaking of having
Yeah.
plans mastered out, you're pretty good at doing that in your fight career so far, too. Now, here we are, March 7th, another fight, another opponent. Let's talk about him now a little bit. Just what have you seen out of your opponent as you've been scouting him? Obviously, he's coming over from Bellator to fight you here, so just your thoughts on this matchup.
He's small and he's old, and I'm gonna take him out. Yeah. I fought way harder guys. I mean, it sucks that the Irish guys are not in this tournament because I thought they're the best. The two, Duke and Mitchell. So it sucks they're out. Uh, and yeah, I'm just gonna take. I'm him here to take everything back. Good luck. I feel bad for them because they feel the pressure of me. They seen what I can do, and I had the hardest bracket last year, and I went through it. I'm gonna have the hardest bracket this year. I'm gonna go through it, and yeah, I mean, I feel bad for those guys.
And I did see somewhere where you said I think you're going to send him into retirement, if I have the quote correctly. So pretty bold statement. I usually always ask all the fighters, like, what's your prediction for the fight for all the fans out there? Sounds pretty clear that retirement, I guess, is going to be the way this one ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring him back to reality. So he's already talking about the $1 million tournament. I'm like, bro, get over this fight first, my friend. But he seems like a pleasant guy enough. If we weren't fighting each other, we'd probably have a nice conversation. He's a good businessman. I heard. He's pretty rich, got a lot of followers, so he probably knows his marketing, and I don't. And I'm very conservative. I'm not gonna spew shit or lie and say stuff I don't mean or I don't believe in just for popularity. That's just my principles, and I stick by them. But yeah, he's probably good at his job and his marketing. That's what he does. So what can I do? All I can do, all we can both do is just prove what we can know in the ring, and I know what I'm capable of. So I'm excited to show it.
All right, man. I know we covered a lot of ground. I'm going to end today with a little family question, though, for you. I know we did talk family a little bit before with your wife being your strength and conditioning coach and nutritionist and everything. But I do know whenever you have a fight, usually a pretty big, solid, crowd supporting you. It's usually, I think your parents usually come out, a couple other family members, friends, whatnot. They're usually always with you in your corner, always, no matter what part of the world you're fighting in, they make sure that they're there for it. Who's coming out to Paris, and what's that mean just to have everybody support how you always have it?
Well, my dad's always in my corner, so he always buys his own ticket, gets his own hotel, and stays there even for 2 or 3 days. That's what he does. He comes in for like the weigh-in and then leaves the day after the fight, literally, and flies back home. And he's always there. Usually my mom comes, but the tickets for Paris are really expensive now, and I can't help her with it. So she's staying home this time, but so far she's been told the other ones. My wife's gonna be there, and usually I get a lot of family from Europe, but we just all saw each other in Dublin, and they got other stuff to do. So yeah, it's this time it's not gonna be as crowded. And my manager unfortunately can't make it because he can't take time off. But a lot of people are preparing for Glasgow in Scotland for the next one in September. So everyone is telling me they're gonna be there for that one. So the crew is reuniting back again in September.
I say you're gonna have a lot of fights coming up. I'm sure there'll be a time for everybody to all get together there. That's for sure. I guess just one
Yeah.
other thing. Do you make a little vacation out of this trip, or no? Because obviously, you got to take care of business, but just the fact that you're gonna be concentrating a little bit more with just the weight cut and the water loads and everything. Does that give you maybe a little bit of time during fight week, maybe to maybe go sightsee, maybe see the Eiffel Tower, or any sort of that type of stuff?
Some last time I was in Paris, PFL organized a little tour bus with me, and they filmed me and Francis, and we're just talking, so that was nice. But all in all, I try not to walk too much. I'm pretty tired. I'll do shop. I like to go locally around my hotel and do some grocery shopping and walk somewhere close. But usually the day after my fight, I we do a lot of sightseeing and yeah, and the day after that, because usually we stay a day and then we have like a half a day the next day before we depart. But this time we're just gonna do the Friday. We got tickets this time for the Louvre because last time we were there they were sold out. So last time we went to the oldest opera house in Paris. I went for a ballet because I love ballet, so that was very pleasant with my wife. This time we're gonna do the Louvre, and always we're gonna enjoy. My favorite thing about is the food. So we go to a lot of restaurants. Like every meal, we go to a cool, nice restaurant because the food is so damn good in Paris. And I think we're gonna go to a what is it called? like a dinner show. I forgot what that's called, and it's in some famous building with my coach. Because my coach is coming, he's bringing his wife, so we'll do that together as well. Saturday night, and then Sunday or Friday night, and then Saturday morning we leave. So we always have like one day to sightsee, you know.
All right, Jakub, I appreciate the time as always, man. Looking forward to March 7th. Looking forward to seeing you make another run towards another PFL European Championship. Can't thank you enough for the time. It's always great speaking with you. Just the last thing before you head out for the day, man. You want to go ahead and plug your social media so people know where to follow you at? You have any management, sponsorships, all that good stuff? You get the last word here today. Floor is yours, man.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, I want to thank my sponsor Caveman, and his friend just passed away, so I want to send my condolences to him. And I want to also thank Octagon PL, which is a Polish MMA gear provider that sends me gear. I want to give a shout out to Foot Corner, who are sponsoring me in Paris. I'm doing a little thing for them, a little media, and they're sponsoring the event, which is cool. And yeah, that's about it. And follow me on Instagram. I'm at the Florida. I'm the what's my name on Instagram? I'm Jakub the Auditor Kaszuba, or the Auditor PL. PL stands for Poland. There you go. So find me on Instagram, and I'm Kielbasa FL Florida on Twitter if you want to give me a follow. So yeah, I appreciate it.